But I did help Christine get licensed, and I've helped answer other questions for other women that have had a hard time just selling products similar to mine and what they need to do with their states. So I pulled laws down for them. I've emailed them, told them to contact me if they had any questions. And if they wanted to, I've been on the phone while they've talked to government agencies, because there's no attorneys that have any real knowledge about this industry other than the ones that have worked with me. And I've had to help them learn.
That's incredible. So while you're creating and then starting your own business, you're also kind of really like inspiring and then teaching and giving back to help others. That's very Libra moon, Libra rising of you. I love that. So hey, what's going on, good people? Eric Taylor, BigEAstrology, back with episode 219 of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast with my amazing guest. She is the business owner of Cindy's Popsicles, Stone Popsicles, really a business coach in terms of inspiring and helping people and women specifically to get their own business licenses and all the information they need. An award-winning business owner in South Carolina. I present to you Miss Elizabeth Broussard. How are you today, my friend?
I am lovely as usual. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so glad to finally have you on the show. And we'll just get into all that you make and create, because I think you're what you have built and how you've built it is really fascinating and inspiring. But I want to start off with first, what do you sell? I mean, explain Cindy's Popsicles and Stone Popsicles, and then we'll go back to young Elizabeth. But share with the audience, what do you actually make and how do you make it?
So I am the owner of Cindy's Twisted Spirits. So that's why I started first 7 years ago to honor my mother. It was a way for her to retire here in spirit. She was a little twisted. She loved to drink and a touch vain. So I made the logo, her logo. Behind me is the previous one I absolutely did not enjoy. So it was very exciting to start a new one. I started off just using local, total brain fart there. Local liquor. Okay. Started with Jim. He owns William Wolf, Jim Goldstein. Hypnotic. Most people know him from Hypnotic.
Okay. What type of alcohol would you put in the popsicles?
I have bourbon. That's Jim's company. I have vodka. We were using sweetgrass vodka, but we're looking to switch now. We use Topper's rum for our rum, and they have so many amazing different flavors. They're so fun to play with. They actually help me so much develop further. And then we're using Luzanola for tequila, 100% agave. I believe in using premium ingredients, premium liquor as well. So we use fresh fruit. I make my own simple syrups, and it's just like playtime at work all the time.
Now, okay, so that's really cool. So, okay, I want to connect this with the birth chart, because Miss Elizabeth here is the Capricorn Sun, Libra Moon, Libra Rising, right? And the Libra Moon in the first house, so perfect that you named the business after your mother, Cindy, right? And the moon represents our mothers, and like the kind of like, I don't know, it's just harmonious and peaceful and beautiful. But
never thought of that.
Well, you have Pluto there too, but we don't want to talk bad about Mom, right? Or the popsicle.
Yeah, Pluto's that's a lovely planet.
So wait, I'm trying to figure out, do you make this yourself with your own two bare hands?
I do. I don't use any machines. We hand package. I hand design. I designed every single one of my sleeves. There's even some on there that has a ghost picture of my mother that I was moving around for a while. And then I lost the original file and just didn't have it in me to redo it. So it's going to stay on those labels and not move to the other ones.
Wow. Okay. And so when did you start this business?
A year after my mother died. I got a check from her insurance company, and I used that money, my portion of it, to start the company.
What year was this?
This was 2016.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's that's pretty fascinating. So, okay, now before we get into your other business, which I think now is becoming your main business,
I think so too.
give us a window to who was young Elizabeth at 10 years old, and could she have ever imagined this entrepreneur life? And also, I'm kind of curious what you did before the alcohol, like what type of work did you do and stuff like that. But take us down memory lane to young Elizabeth, because I'm sure that's a difference of opinion of yourself that you would be doing this, right?
Different. I think young Elizabeth would have been fine with it. Teenage to 20-year-old Elizabeth that was a Sunday school teacher probably would have had a real issue.
Okay.
But 10-year-old Elizabeth, well, I moved from a very small town in Oklahoma to Rochester, New York, where I became a minority. And then I made a lot of friends because I was their loan shark. So kids would come to me and borrow money, and I would take collateral. And sometimes it worked out. Sometimes the parents showed up, and I'd show them a contract like they signed it. None of us knowing that contract wasn't even legal because nobody was old enough to sign it nor make it. And their parents would agree and then pay me the money, and they would leave and tell their kids not to borrow money from me anymore.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is like kind of like the middle school years, because that makes me laugh.
Yeah, this was grade school. This was grade school.
Okay, but that's because you have Mars in Capricorn, which is definitely why you're a business owner and entrepreneur, right? And the Capricorn sun, but that's literally, oh my God, that's so funny. And then even your Neptune and Sagittarius third house, kind of like the low shark and in elementary school doing that. So, okay, wait. So before Cindy's Popsicles, who was Elizabeth and what was she doing? I mean, obviously you said you're a mother, correct? How many children do you have?
7.
Okay, so were you just a stay-at-home mom, or were you working part-time? What were you like?
I was never really good at being a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't very good with gossiping, so play groups were I wasn't very popular in those. And then I ran the house like a business, had a schedule, had our time frames, had when we did everything was scheduled, but it just, after a while, I just wasn't enough. And so when my mom passed away, I had somewhere in that time frame, I had tried another adult popsicle. And it was pretty good, but that business went out of business, which was sad. And then the gentleman that was selling the previous product bought new products, and I worked for him temporarily. My husband was off of work. And I really like saving money, so I didn't want to tap into it. I was like, yeah, I'll just go get a job for a few weeks. And the products were terrible. They were so bad. And I remember looking at him and going, Woody, where's the good products? Like, for real, this is disgusting. So I was his top salesperson because I would tell people, these are disgusting, but they'll get you where you need to go. And if you want to keep your buzz up, it'll definitely help. So there you go.
So you're saying you just didn't like the taste of the alcohol popsicles?
They tasted like chemicals and cheap liquor.
Artificial, yeah, and cheap. Okay, I get it.
And aspartame. It's terrible.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, aspartame. So when I started my company, I was like, well, let's level it up because there's nothing on the market that's not garbage. Everything's made with syrups.
Yeah.
Ironically, stoned, I use candy. So, there's got to be a good versus evil situation, I guess, in everyone's life.
So for you, that's really important for you in terms of your business. And then I want you to kind of, share your new business or newer business, Stone Popsicles. And that uses hemp. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Water soluble hemp. Mm-hmm.
So how do you make it? And then for you, you said you don't use any of the chemicals and you use natural fruit. That's obviously very intentional and important for you?
Well, that was on the liquor side. On the hemp side, I kind of just went with, well, when you get high, what do you like? And I'm like, I like candy. So I started breaking down candy. So I have one with Skittles, one with Starburst, all the pink Starburst, a blue Jolly Rancher, a sugar-free, no aspartame green apple. I do have one organic dragon fruit, and then I'm going to make a grape mango next. But that one is going to be made with organic juices.
Wow. See, that's smart, getting into the whole organic and space, and that really like comes up my alley, because my whole house and life of my wife, everything's organic and vegan and this and that. So,
It makes a
but
difference.
well, you're right, and it does energetically too. And I think that for me, I don't drink anymore, right? So for me, but I do sometimes have issues sleeping, and so I can testify. And I've tried Elizabeth's popsicles, and you guys, not only do they taste good, it doesn't feel like it's artificial, but I got the best sleep, Elizabeth. I was just like,
So
oh my
glad to hear
gosh.
that always brings me so much joy when people tell me that.
Well, and tell me, is it because you've had some experiences, right, where you've really helped people to get back to sleep again, correct?
Yeah, one of my favorite experiences was in the car ride around at my kid's school. One of the teachers, nobody else was there, so she felt speak freely, and she said, "I wanted to stop you and thank you." I said, "What?" She said, "Well, I lost my child a year ago,
Oh,
and I haven't been able to sleep." I said, "Oh, I remember that first year." It's just like,
oh,
I said, "I lost my son too." So
I'm so
first year's
sorry.
hard. And I said, "I didn't have anything like that. I have had alcohol, and it was terrible for my system."
Yeah.
Uh,
No, because the alcohol, yes, the depressant, and
it
not good
does,
for the
yeah.
brain. Yeah.
And I would have a window where if I drank past that window, I just would become manic. It was insane. Um, but to hear her say that she hasn't slept, and then my children tell me she's really nice lately. She's been really nice. I said, "She's been sleeping."
Oh, you
And I told her,
know,
like, from this point forward, anytime you need anything, you let me know, and I will bring it to you, because that is amazing. And I got to help her, and she shared that with me.
I think that that's so deep and so powerful, right? Because, when we don't sleep as human beings, like, it can wreck our entire everything, not just mood, but it starts to, integrate into our health, into the mood swings, into, just even diseases and just mental like fog, no clarity, right? So
Yeah.
when you create a product like you have that actually does bring not just some high and joy and laughter, but actual sleep and restoration, because that's what sleep is, right? And our
Yes.
physical avatar body gets the rest, and our soul gets the astral travel, and we come back and we're like replenished and refreshed. So that's really powerful. So share with the audience, one, you won, explain the award you won in South Carolina, and then how you help other women, get started with businesses.
It was a national women's association for my work, and being the first person in South Carolina to be licensed to manufacture alcohol popsicles. Also,
Wow.
hemp popsicles. But I got the award before, actually, when I was in the process of developing Stoned.
Okay. And
So
when was
that
this
was
when you won the award?
2022.
Wow, congratulations. That must have felt pretty awesome, huh?
It was really cool. And then behind me, I was in the Charleston Swig Guide. I didn't know that I was the main story. And I was like, why am I in the center? Why is nobody else's picture in the very beginning of it? And one of my friends was like, because you were the featured article. I said, oh, is that why they postponed it by 2 weeks? They're like, yes. I was like, oh, I
You are too much. Oh my God.
I was
Well, it's
just
good.
excited to
It's
get
good
in.
that you're a little naive and a little humble, right? That's
I
good.
am very naive, and I'm the first to admit it, but I'm okay with that, because the other way just seems rough, a rough way to live. I like having that childlike excitement. So
Yeah, well, no, it speaks to the joy that you create in your products and the purity, and I think that that's really part of, why and how you have this success. Now, what do you do in terms of working or inspiring to help women start their own businesses?
I get a lot of phone calls from people that have a hard time getting licensed in South Carolina because they really like to change the rules a lot for women, it appears specifically. It's been my understanding of it. And the most recent one was this girl, Christine. She owns a slushy company. And she was trying to get licensed, do the right thing, go through all the right channels. And she just kept hitting one brick wall after another. So she decided to contact me, reached out to me. And she's like, I don't know if you'd be willing to help me. I said, yeah. Is it good? Because it'd be nice to have some competition.
Oh my God, that's so funny. But so,
of course, she said it was good. I haven't tried it yet, but it took about a year. And she finally called me up and she goes, I think they're going to do it. They gave me a new license. I said, I hope they don't try to give me one. They have. So I have appealed it because I don't understand why I don't qualify for a license they gave me that they made up for me.
Oh my gosh.
But I did help Christine get licensed, and I've helped answer other questions for other women that have had a hard time just selling products similar to mine and what they need to do with their states. So I pulled laws down for them. I've emailed them, told them to contact me if they had any questions. And if they wanted to, I've been on the phone while they've talked to government agencies because there's no attorneys that have any real knowledge about this industry other than the ones that have worked with me. And I've had to help them learn.
That's incredible. So while you're creating and then starting your own business, you're also kind of really like inspiring and then teaching and giving back to help others. That's very Libra moon, Libra rising of you. I love that. So tell me, so when did you first get into like astrology and spirituality? Because I know, we've worked together doing a chart reading, but I know that you're really into the esoteric and occult knowledge, correct?
Yes, very much. It's becoming a little bit of an addiction.
That's all right. But what started it and when did you get first into it?
So I think it was 2022 as well. Okay. A friend of mine who managed a commissary kitchen I owned was going through a divorce and having a really hard time. And he was listening to tarot online. And I have nothing against tarot. And I don't want it to sound like I do. Right. But he was catching I was like, they're picking up all the energy, all of it, not you specific. It's not your pattern. It doesn't even sound like you. And at this point, I had no idea that there was a rising and a moon and all this other stuff. I was a Capricorn sun. That's all there was. That's the end of the zodiac. I was the best. But nothing in my life made sense.
Right.
Nothing. So I ended up looking into, I think I've stumbled upon astrology and I was like, wait a second, this sounds interesting. Next thing I know, I'm digging for my birth certificate and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm a Libra rising. Well, my friend is a Libra sun. He's not acting like a Libra sun. You know who he acts like? He acts like a Virgo. That's what his rising sign is.
Oh my gosh.
So he was stuck in the details because there were so many of them. And so I got into it to help him. And, he has been, I think, like 6 months clean of tarot. So
he's all into the astrology now as well?
He is. And now he understands the degrees. So whenever an opposition comes up or a square, he could panicky before. But now he's like, it's not even near my degrees. I said, no, it's not. You're fine. You're fine. Just take a deep breath. You're doing everything you're supposed to do. You got this. You're exercising. You're doing this. Everything is pulling together. You're fine.
Oh my God.
Miracles aren't expected overnight. Trust me. If they were, I would have already been dead by now.
Oh my God. So growing up, was mom an inspiration in terms of would she work or have her own business, or dad? What kind of gave you that business mindset? Because to me, all that you've done, I know, having my own business and even with watching my wife with 2 businesses, there's so much paperwork, licensing, this, that, and I think it can be very intimidating for people, right? So what just gave you the courage and just the wherewithal besides your Capricorn sun, to do what you do?
Might be my Uranus and Scorpio. I was like, screw it, we'll just do it. If we fail, we fail. If we succeed, we succeed.
Well, I'm going to get to that placement in a second. Uranus and Scorpio in the second house. Definitely, you are the black sheep of the family?
Most certainly. Most certainly. My sisters were gorgeous, perfect little bodies growing up, beautiful brown hair, tan, and then there's me, the redhead that looked like a board. I was skinny when skinny wasn't in. I had no breasts when that was not in. And, it was back when, was it my anaconda? It's like 36, I believe she's 5'3". My sister had that body.
Oh my God.
I didn't know.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. I like big butt. Yeah, I know. Oh my God, that's so funny.
So then I was always weird. And I always thought differently. I argued with my teachers my mom got a scholarship for my sisters and I, or not a scholarship, but financial help for a private school, Catholic school. And I remember asking question after question, like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would people build a pyramid to die? Like, why would they spend their whole life building something to put their dead body in? It made no sense. The priest stopped calling on me. He's like, anybody else have questions? I'm like, it's still me.
Oh my God.
They wouldn't let me do a first communion. So then I decided I was going to be an altar server anyway. So I just circumvented the situation, said that I did it at my church. My mom just didn't want to do at the school and the school church. So I had my own church. I already got my first communion. So I want to be an altar server now. So they let me. Apparently there's no verification of anything when a kid says something.
Oh my God. No, so what did mom or dad, like, did someone kind of inspire you in terms of the business mindset?
They did. They showed me a life I didn't want.
Okay. Sometimes it's the negative that creates the inspiration of the positive. Okay.
It was absolutely, I just looked around. I'm like, this isn't my life. This isn't where I'm supposed to be at. And I was alone a lot because I was weird. I still am weird, but now I've accepted it.
Hey, listen.
Now I just go out looking for my weird people.
Yeah, listen, that's what I tell you, right? I tell people, my 11th house crew, you come to Astrological Coffee Talk with Eric, and people don't have to feel weird, because a lot of people are awakening at this time, and a lot of people find comfort and solace and truth, and feel like they're seeing themselves through astrology or numerology or human design. And I think that it's really important to create that safe space, right, where people can come and talk about astrology and spirituality and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. So now, are you involved in any like business associations or anything in South Carolina, or just anything specific with women?
No, we should probably circle back to women don't really enjoy me very much because I'm very honest. And I've been invited to a couple of them, but it's much like the play groups. It was like a competition. It didn't seem like it was help. So then I decided to go out my own and start helping people. Terrible idea. I need structure for that, by the way, because you have no idea how many homeless people and drug addicts would come in here and they didn't eat. And I was like, that's fine. I made lasagna. You want some?
Yeah. Remember Saturn Pisces, healthy boundaries, Elizabeth.
I'm learning those. Only took a few hits to the head, and then I learned.
Okay.
I started to realize that I was doing that as a distraction as well.
Okay.
So to avoid being near me and meeting me and digging down deep into who I was. Plus, I like sharing with people, but that wasn't the real reason I was doing it. It was so I could hide from me. So now I'm regrouping and deciding that now it's going to be a different thing. So I have one of my hemp shops. They're going to come into my space and they're going to use the whole front area here and do tastings and teach people how to use hemp and mix drinks and do different things. I'm so excited about that.
That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So now you're hosting this, and this is through Who's this? Where's this?
It's through Relief. They're one of my customers. I went to taste there and I was like, I think we could take some of this stuff and mix it up and try playing with some drinks. And there was a lady that sells freeze-dried candy. So I took some of her stuff. And next thing I know, I'm just mixing all this stuff up. It was on 420, best 420 ever. I got the owner's mother super high. She's like 80-something years old. So now it's a running joke. Anytime he says that, I was like, do you want me to come pick her up and I'll bring her some popsicles and make her some drinks? He was like, no. She wanted to drink that night back. She's like, I'm fine.
Oh,
I said, now you are so high. You are so high.
But you know what? Okay, so I know you're number one, you're just funny and hilarious, but it's really deep what you're saying, right? Because I took care of my mother for over 20 years, and she was a survivor of breast and brain cancer and had dementia. But what I found, whenever I gave my mom CBD or THC, right, she would be more clear, because with the dementia, she started to whisper and lose her voice. But what people don't know, the endocannabinoid system really exists in our body. So when we don't have it, and they only teach it in like 10% of the medical schools, which I think is a crime, right? But when we don't have it, we're actually deficient. But then when we do, it actually can help with chronic pain, but more importantly, Alzheimer's or dementia, because it helps decrease the inflammation in the brain. So have you done anything where you've tried to market or connect with senior centers, or just, how do you connect those things for your business with the stone popsicles?
Oddly enough, nobody wants to hear about the benefits. The government gets very upset when you talk about the benefits and all the things like, the different cannabinoids out there, THCV. It helps with ADHD. It helps with Alzheimer's. It helps with weight loss. It helps with so many different things. That's just one cannabinoid.
Wow.
Let's not talk about it, they say.
So you find resistance then if you mention it.
Most certainly you do. Even my best friend Perplexity, that's also an app, an AI app. I tried to have him do an ad for me, and it came back and it's like, it is not recommended to promote the positive of it. And I'm like, wow, we're programming our AI to say that, but that's untrue. When you make a plant illegal and then take a chemical and make it legal, that's when we have a problem. And that's where we're at in society, and that needs to change. When I accidentally stopped drinking on a regular basis, and it really was accidental. I was just busy working. I had a concussion and different things of that nature. And I started dipping more into hemp. I lost 60 pounds. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do anything different. I didn't change how I ate. I didn't change anything.
Wow.
Inflammation went down on me. All of a sudden, I realized I woke up and I was in a fantastic mood and ready for the day. Even if my life, and it really sometimes feels that way, just bombs going off all over the place. The stress just started to disappear from me. And as the stress and as all the anxiety of, I think just the memories with drinking that I kept pulling back in and regenerating in my life, as they're coming in to my body, and I'm drinking more, and the inflammation is everywhere. My face is swollen. It's just ridiculous. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. My face is thin and it looks healthy, and I feel like I'm getting younger. Recently I tried to verify my LinkedIn account, and I used my driver's license, and then I did a selfie and it said it could not verify me.
Oh my God, because you lost so much weight. Wow.
It's so different. And I remember hearing in astrology 2 years ago, in 2 years you won't recognize yourself, and nobody will recognize. But legitimately, I have people I worked in a kitchen with, a commissary kitchen with, for years, and I'll run into them in public and they do not recognize me at all.
Well, 60 pounds is a lot. I know when I was in the hospital for 4 days for 4 days, hospital for 85 days, I lost 36 pounds, and it was mostly muscle, but I was still, recognizable. 60, that's a whole nother level. I mean,
I wasn't muscle, it's like the jelly roll,
Oh my gosh. So,
okay. 3 chins I had.
Oh, so wait. So I want to kind of find out. So do you I know this may be kind of deep, but do you kind of feel like now, as you've kind of come to more of this spiritual awakening, do you feel the need to kind of put the Cindy's popsicles behind because you're not into the alcohol anymore, and
Yeah.
then just really focus on the stoned and the different variations that you can make? Because like you said, there's so many different cannabinoids, right? So you can make different branches, because I know we have sativa, and then maybe you can explain.
Yeah. Sativa, that one is stay awake. That's how I remember it. And then indica, in the bed or in the night, that
Okay.
when you go to sleep. So understanding those two, and then understanding that sometimes it's advertised as it's one or the other, but it's not really. It's a blend, but it's blended from both, but they'll just market it in different ways. So knowing who manufactures, knowing if they know their information. I was actually shocked in Vegas when I was asking about purification of another cannabinoid, HHC. And I asked them how they did it. And I think I probably asked 10 to 15 businesses there, how do you filter it? And all of them said, I don't know. Well, that's important because there's mercury or platinum. Mercury stays in your brain, platinum doesn't. Platinum
Right.
costs money per kilo. So people will opt out of it. I would just opt out of the cannabinoid over opting out of somebody's health. And see, that is where we run into some of the problems, is the misunderstanding of it, the misunderstanding of what we can do with it. I mean, just the paper we can use alone from the hemp, and the amount of time it takes to grow that we can use the paper. We are not tearing down trees. You know the beautiful trees they have been tearing down near my kitchen? It is ridiculous, and it makes me cry. There's a tree that was probably there 300 something years old. We're expanding the road, so they tore it down. It was
Oh,
before us.
yeah,
So
the destruction of nature, you're right. It's inhumane, and it's not making Gaia, Mother Earth happy. You're right. That's wow.
no, and we have this amazing plant that will calm people's nerves, help them sleep, help them with any kind of pains that they have. And if you don't have that pain going on in your body, like excruciating pain going on in your body for long periods of time, if that's gone, guess what? You get to process what caused that pain. Because you're not just feeling the pain. Now you can figure out how you got to that area in your life. And that is what we're missing. That goes into mental health. You know, they wanted to make marijuana illegal years ago, so they made up all of these things to make it illegal because of paper. They didn't want the paper. You know, and that blows my mind. We're going to make a plant illegal.
No, I agree. And just now, they just recently announced that it's finally going to be taken off the, for federal crime.
Category 3.
In terms of category 3, in terms of like where you have like crack and cocaine and heroin. And it's like, wait a minute, marijuana, it's nowhere, alcohol should be illegal, not, you know what I mean, marijuana. So I think that it's slow to change because every state is different. I know, many states now, and Colorado led the way, right, where it's not just medical marijuana, it's also recreational, it's legal, and that's how it should be in all 50 states. But I think that we have to just kind of realize as a society, and now it's unfortunate they are knocking out a lot of the marijuana farmers, and the corporations and the politicians are finding ways to kind of circumvent them, who've been growing for years in California and places.
Yeah.
And now they're like starting to grow and make it hard for the people who were already doing it for decades and decades. And that's a crime in itself. But it's all capitalism, right? It's all about making the money, and
that's correct. And it, like a cannabinoid, that Delta 8. Terrible. Everyone's like, oh, don't want the Delta 8, don't want Delta 8. It's horrible. Government's like, we're going to shut this down. We need to shut this down. The problem is they hold the patent. The federal government holds the patent to extract this cannabinoid from the CBD seed. Why would they hold the patent and then push so hard for it to become illegal? Unless they're wanting to make money themselves for it later. Which is
wow. So explain that. I don't know the term. What's Delta 8?
So there's two sides of the plant, same plant, but you have the hemp side, and on the hemp side, that's what they made legal in most of the states.
The hemp side of the plant.
Yes.
Okay.
because they thought there's no way you can get high off it, but they should realize that we're humans. We'll find a way to get high off of sawdust, But that's our only option. We're going to figure it out.
And then what's the other side?
The other side's cannabis. But now the hemp side has found so many cannabinoids and different things like THCA. It is a non-psychedelic cannabinoid, which was fine to come through the state, even though it came from the cannabis side, because it was non-psychedelic. But here's the thing. Once you heat it up, that A goes away. Now it's 200 times stronger than your typical marijuana from the cannabis side. It is strong. I've tried it.
Okay. So now, what would you recommend if and I want you to share like your website or email, because some of my audience, they may be dealing with chronic pain. I know for me, like I mentioned, your popsicles help me, sleep at night. But for someone dealing with inflammation, arthritis, headaches, migraines, or, even if they have a parent starting to get dementia or Alzheimer's, how can people, reach out to you to get your popsicles, and then also even to find out questions like, would this work for my mom or my dad or for me? How share your information with the audience for me.
But you can email me at twistedcindy@gmail.com.
twistedcindy@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You go on to Facebook to Cindy's Twisted Spirits. Actually, I just thought about it might be easier if you just go to Stone Pops. That way I know which company you're talking about.
Okay. Stone Pops what?
Stone Pops, just on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Email me at Twisted Spirits. Everybody emails me for both companies on that one. But either way is fine. And if you forget that, you can always Google me, but just be under Cindy's. I'm still working on Google verifying Stone for the address. It's hemp.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, no, that's good, because I trust me, I'm sure some of you guys out there, I would recommend, because and also what's really deep, I think it can be a preventative tool, right? To not get Alzheimer's or dementia, because the CBD or the hemp, it helps keep away inflammation from the brain, right? And when we have like diabetes or inflammation in the head, that's what causes the Alzheimer's and different things. So I've been reading about those connections, and so your stuff can not only be pleasurable, enjoyable for good sleep or just a good time, it can also be a preventative measure for your health, right? For the future.
Yeah, it really does help. The thing is that people don't understand. I didn't understand, so I get why they don't. But a good night's sleep really changes everything. I feel different. I feel so different. I have my nightly routine, and, I'll come home, and then a few minutes before I go to bed, I'll take some hemp, and I'll lay in bed, my grounding sheets, and put my meditation music on, and go on my vacation in my head. And it is the most amazing experience. And before, I used to always get so mad. I'm like, I hate that I have to go to sleep. And I hate that I have so much stuff to do. And this is just really taking my time away. I would say it for 3 days at a time on a regular basis, making products.
Oh my gosh.
Not realizing what I was doing to my body. I was tearing it apart.
So bad for your health, because what people don't know, especially with all this technology and the blue lights, and I tell people, even if you have 20/20 vision and you're not visually impaired like me, everyone should have, even for your cell phones, if you don't have glasses or reading glasses, get glasses with the blue light to protect your eyes from these screens, because the screens are damaging our retinas. And then it also throws off the natural circadian rhythms for you to be able to get proper sleep. And I think they said that, really your body starts to, not regress, but like it gets into a bad spot if you're going to bed like after like 10 p.m. Like the cutoff should be like 11, but the best sleep time is like from 10 to 4 a.m. to get good sleep, because it even goes with the different stuff with your organs. And I learned
I
to
learned that too on your channel.
yeah, I learned from an amazing guest, the Chinese medical practitioner, Ami Diaz.
Yeah.
Like 1 to 3 is that time from the liver to the lungs, and things like that. So you want to get that proper rest, because your organs also have to go through their cycle while you're sleeping of restoring and recleansing.
Yeah.
So it's wow. So okay, so are you what's next for for Stone Popsicles, and like what are you like expanding out of? And obviously you sell over the internet, and it's not just in South Carolina. So what are your ways of expanding and growing the business? I mean, with the Uranus and Scorpio, in the second house, to me, it's that sixth sense that you have, and that business sense. But it's also like, Uranus and Scorpio is a very like healing energy. A lot of people who could be good with massage therapy or Reiki masters, Uranus and Scorpio can give you those abilities. But I would imagine that you could probably, find places that it could be open to innovative ways of healing with naturopathic or homeopathic doctors' offices. So
One of my customers actually does that. And so, yeah, ideally what I would like to do is get into the medical side.
Yeah.
And I really just break this plant apart. It's such a miracle plant. I drank the Kool-Aid. I believed it was evil. I thought I was going to go to hell if I consumed it. And it wasn't. I found the most peace in my life now. And I can see that my brain's processing so much differently. I'm calmer. Bombs are going off and I'm skipping through. We're like, woo, let's go. Off to see the wizard. It's a whole different experience. And I want to tell everybody, I'm at the store and I'm like, have you tried hemp? I went to Home Depot to get paint, got some samples. I was in line. Next thing I know, I'm making best friend with the guy behind me. And we're talking about his mother who has Alzheimer's. And I was telling him what he needs to get, and then different frequencies to have her listen to as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing now? And what's happening to me?
That's your ministry, though.
I know it is.
That's what it is, right? You're using your speech, Uranus, in innovative, futuristic ways, breaking the social norms, fracturing the structures. And the Scorpio it's about the money, second house, how we earn money, but it's also about the health. And so that's really your ministry, and it's not only so needed, so thank you, but it's also so amazing because you can really transform lives with just helping people to come back to their heart chakra and be whole and get good rest and health again, right?
Yeah, and the thing is that we have been trained that this is, can't wait till I turn 21, I get to drink. Yay. Can't wait to do this, I get to do this. All these bad things, we're not training our kids to.
Well, look at all the sports arenas and the advertising commercials. It's all alcohol, beer. Yeah. And that stuff is the worst thing for you.
Yeah, I'm like, why did we make a plant illegal when you never, ever, ever hear about it? So, man got high, went and robbed the store. No, man got high, ordered a weird pizza. That's the extent of his evening.
No, it's so true. Like, because with alcohol, people get depressed. It's antidepressant, and they get violent and aggressive. With marijuana, people want to eat and snack and laugh.
Yeah.
And mentally explore. And that's the thing, though, right? Because it does give us.
Maybe that's just the me thing.
Well, no, because you know what it is? People the powers that be don't want us to be a free-thinking society.
Mm-hmm. They want to remove the fathers, emasculate men. Then they want to raise these children in a very stressed out situation that they can't get out of. Because if they do all that, they have alcohol and all that wonderful, fun stuff that's poisoning every part of our bodies, then guess what? In the end, they make great soldiers.
So I want to ask you this.
We got to change the world and everyone's mindset on stuff.
No, you're so right. And that's what you're doing. And I think even how you said you were doing that at Home Depot, that is so powerful. That is kind of like you communicating your spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and beliefs, Neptune, Sagittarius, third house, right? In your
Yeah.
local community. So it's quite literal. And I think that, that is, it's a gift, but I think you're called to do this. And I guess I should ask you, do you feel like this has become like a calling for you?
Yeah, it's always been the way I've been. And it just took friends pointing it out. The running thing is Beth making friends. Like, I'll call you back. I'm just going to run the gas station real quick. 3 hours later, you will never believe what happened to me. Anyway, so he's a Gemini rising. Good news. He was able to get a hold of his mother. And
Oh my God.
I told him he's gonna be fine. That's just me. Yeah, if there's somebody in need and they start talking to me, I won't not talk to them, because I remember being bullied. I remember nobody talking to me. I remember being alone, and I know how much it hurts.
Yeah.
It's so always shocking when they get it from me, and I'm like 5 years old talking to them, like, tell me more. Okay, what else you got going on? You're gonna be okay. Like, you have a beautiful soul, and it doesn't matter what time of day it is.
But
Oh yeah, it is.
do you equate that with like the Uranus Scorpio second house or the Neptune Sag third house? Because to me, it is like really, they're powerful energies, right? For those who don't really understand that, it's like Uranus is the spiritual awakener, right? And even the Neptune, it's like sharing, right? Your creativity, your imagination, your spiritual gifts in your local community. And the fact that you do this and have always been this person, it's really you walking in the destiny, right, of your birth chart. And it's like, like I told you when we did, this is like a remembrance of your soul, what you selected when you were in heaven before you came here through the portal of your mother's womb and born on earth, right? This is what you chose. And like now you're like dancing in it full fledged and providing the actual product to help people heal.
Yeah, that's the nicest thing. That's what I love the most, is when people tell me stories about how it helped. And I just, sometimes I will tear up in front of them, and I hate crying. It's Capricorn.
Well, listen. So let me ask you this though, right? Because you said you're a mother of 7. Now, are any of your children interested in the business? Are they like embarrassed by mom or like weirded out? Like, how do your kids, and I'm sure the ages would vary in terms of who does what, but overall, what do they think about this amazing, weird, unique entrepreneur mom?
Well, at first it was very hush hush until I started bringing popsicles into their school, because my one son is he's a brilliant boy, and he speaks very fluent sarcasm. And I don't want to stop him, because I feel like it keeps him on his toes and it keeps everybody else on their toes. And I explain that to them. I'm not going to change that. He's not being disrespectful, but he's just really good at it. He didn't like it at first, but then all of a sudden he started to hear stuff from the other students whose moms were teachers talking about my popsicles. And the next thing I know, it went from being morally embarrassed to where I'd have to say things like, these clothes were brought to you by people that mommy got drunk and high this week, and you're welcome. Okay, see, it's not that bad. And they're like, oh, to now my middle son, Gavin, going, yeah, my mom named the company after Mace, after my middle name, Stone. I was like, that was also my maiden name. My maiden name. You know what? Just run with it. My 9-year-old wants to take over the business. He already has plans. He's gonna, pretty sure, snuff out the rest of his siblings if need be, because he's a Scorpio rising and moon.
Oh my gosh, I like that. Okay.
And then my son Tad, he just wants stuff so he can go on and makes videos and things online. So as long as he gets things for that, but other than that, he thinks it's kind of cool now. And he was like, I don't think I'm going to drink when I get older, but I think when I'm ready, I might. delve into hemp or cannabis. So, well, when you do, let me know. I'll help you. I'll show you which ones to go with and what things to work with and what feelings you may have, because that's the thing. People don't realize that when you get anxiety, there's things you can do to reverse it if you have too much of one cannabinoid, or and they don't know. They're going to the hospital freaking out.
Right.
You guys smoke when they were in their teens that are now in their 60s, 80s. I don't even know, between that age, 60 to 80, and they're trying the new stuff and they're freaking out. They're like, I can handle the good stuff. Next thing you know, they're being rushed to the hospital. It's hilarious, because then you're like, well, if you just take CBD for that cannabinoid, it completely takes away the anxiety and the high.
So you're saying the CBD helps to eliminate anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't because you don't get high with CBD, right?
No. And it helps with your gut, digestion, focus. That's how I got into it, because I drank one of my friend, Charleston Hemp. They have a drink. It was the first hemp drink I ever had. And I tried it, and I was sitting there and I was reading. And then all of a sudden it occurred to me that I was reading without music in my ears, without all the distractions I needed to be able to read. And I ran over to Matt and I was like, what's in this? I need to know. And he's like, what? I said, I was able to focus.
You're like, what's this miracle drink?
I was too. I was like, you know what? I'm going to drink some new Kool-Aid, and I'm going to drink your Kool-Aid, and we're going to figure this out. And so those guys were just so supportive, and they're still supportive to this day with helping me grow. And because of them, I saw the benefit of it. I wasn't high. I was able to focus.
Wow.
And then I realized I was using the bathroom the next day, because I have fight or flight mode on all the time. Like it's a flashing light, Well, I used to. And that caused issues with my gut response. Well, then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, it's helped me go to the bathroom without all the harsh extra things that the doctors prescribe you. I hate
no. Western medicine, don't get me started.
It's terrible.
Yeah. And see, this is what I think with what you do, the hemp and the cannabis, that comes from God. Man didn't make that, so then if it's here to grow naturally on our earth, just like the fruits and vegetables, it's here to benefit us.
And I like to go back to that secret cannabinoid, the THCA. This plant was so smart, it knew to have a backup plan just in case somebody came inside to regulate it. So because that cannabinoid will get you high. But it doesn't show.
Okay, explain that again. Say it again. The T what?
THCA. So it is not a psychedelic until you heat it up. So either smoke it, or even room temperature can change it, like transport from one state to another state. If it's a hot state, it will melt the A away. When it melts the A, it becomes 200 times stronger than your typical cannabis. So if you're not prepared for that, it'll kick you in your butt.
So when it's not heated, you're not going to get high. But then once it gets warmed up, so then would you recommend for people, it still has good health benefits and you don't have to heat it and get high, but it can still be very beneficial for you if you do like an edible or make it in a
breath? As an edible, but even in the edible, it's almost impossible not to convert it accidentally, other than leave it in the flower form.
Okay.
But I find it fascinating that this plant somehow knew ahead of time that just in case something comes up, people are going to need this in the future. So we'll hide something in it so you can get high. It's not about the high. That's what people don't understand. It's about giving your mind a break. And just resting it.
That's pretty deep. I like that. Giving your mind a break.
My mind never stopped before, Eric. It never stopped. It just all the time. Sometimes I wake up and I was like, well, you just shut up. Let me sleep. Couldn't do it because the alcohol's keeping me out too. But even so, without anything, I wasn't sleeping. And then all of a sudden I stumbled upon doing it on a regular basis. And now my mind's getting a break. And now I wake up and people walk up to me and they'll say, well, I want to start this business, but I don't know how to make money. Well, now my generator, human design, is coming into play. I'm like, I got some ideas for you. I've been waiting for you. I was told I'm not allowed to go out looking for you. I got to wait.
Oh my God, I love it. See, but I love that. You tap into everything. So,
Yeah.
what, where do you think, for you, where do you want your business to go and grow? But really, where do you think we are in terms of evolving to appreciate and use the hemp and THC and CBD and in the near next 3 to 5 years? Like, where do you think, as a society and the world and the collective, um, we should go with this?
It most certainly will go in the direction. Just because of I mean, just look at the planets in the sky and all the stuff with astrology. There's no way it can't go in that direction, to where people are going to wake up and say, enough with poisoning my body, enough with the fluoride, enough with this. It just enough.
Yeah.
I want to free my mind. You know what song? Free your mind.
Oh, God.
Just everybody, just try it and see. I bet you'll be nicer. Why don't we try being nicer? We're just angry people because we're poisoning our bodies. Our body is bucking us just as much as the planet is. And we don't have a choice but to change, but to decide. Do we want to keep in the direction we're going into? Well, everything astrology says, oh no, we're about to get weird. And we need something to help people be fine with it. And they need to rest their minds. Maybe people would not be psychopaths because their head is tired. It's tired. And it has everything in there that doesn't make sense, beating away at them day after day after day after day after day. These cannabinoids can change that. We have the receptors in our brains. The plant grows naturally. It grows so fast because it's supposed to feed the masses. Like, just let's put it together, people. Just all of it together.
That's such a powerful point, and I didn't think about that. I guess I didn't know, but you're right. The way that it does grow quickly, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
How long does it take to turn alcohol into alcohol? You got to dig it in the ground, burn some stuff. I mean, there's a whole lot to it. My first attorney was trying to talk me into it, I think as a joke. I didn't find it funny. I was like, first of all, that's not the license I'm applying for.
oh my God, and that's wow. I thank you. This has been like so powerful and so much fun. And I want you to share, how people can contact you again or even follow you, support your business. But I'm sure some of my audience is going to have some questions because
Absolutely.
people.
Feel free to reach out. I love talking to people. I love educating people on this. And if I don't know, I'm going to find out. But I think that's the biggest problem, is there's not a lot of resources, and we're all hiding. We're all being quiet. We're all making it hush hush because we don't want people to think that we're weed heads. Me, I'm wearing like a flag. I'm like, listen, I'm about to get T-shirts that say "Free the Weed" and SC. Okay, I just have to find a place that'll make it at a reasonable price because I am.
Oh, you could do it online. There's so many places now to make T-shirts. That's actually really smart and kind of cool because it is like a revolution and evolution. And with the next 20 years, Pluto and Aquarius,
Yeah.
I think that it's just like people are getting the ashwagandha, the burdock root, and the sea moss. They're going to want the CBD, THC, and the hemp. And that movement has kind of already started, but now not just for the high, really for the health and the medical aspect.
That's what it is. And that is the biggest thing for me, is just a change. I have seen a huge change in me. I am not the same person I was because I'm not deficient.
Well, I am so glad you are here and helping the collective with Stone Popsicles and all that you do. So as we get ready to say goodbye, share your email and your groups again so people can contact you. And you said you have a website, but it's under construction?
It's under construction. I just kept getting ripped off. I mean, it's my trusting. I trust everybody and I give them second chances. But I've now learned a lesson. When people show me who they are, I'm going to believe
Well, you just got to go to Fiverr and, because they have a backdoor system where they check the people and they
We're going to where?
They can Fiverr.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Fiverr they do the website, graphics, logo, everything. They will help you up. And,
That would be nice.
and it's very legit and everybody's pretty professional. So
Okay, I'm going to go on
that
that.
will help you out.
Then.
But share the way for people to contact you, to order your products, and to even ask you some questions.
You can email me at twistedcindy@gmail.com, but the easiest way is to go through Facebook or Instagram under Stone Pops. That's for both of them. And then Cindy's is Cindy's Twisted Spirit Wholesale Division. Either one will get me directly. I respond to everybody as quickly as I can. If you have questions, I love helping, and I love giving people a resource they can contact if there's an issue. It's just, people should be there for people.
No, you're so right. And that's so great that you have that spirit. And I know that Mars and Capricorn, of course you got to have your own business and be the CEO. And yeah, I love it, And
I know it's so weird. I want to take over the world, but I want to do it in a beautifully balanced way. But weird.
Well, yeah, and even your Cancer midheaven, right? It's like out in the world, like being that nurturing, mother, like creating that like family atmosphere, and safety and security for the collective. Like that's you're working that chart, lady.
And thanks to you, I've actually accepted who I am. When you explained it to me a little bit more than, what the hell was I thinking? Looking at my chart, I'm like, this. But
yeah, because it makes life easier, right? When you,
oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, when you walk in your chart and you kind of live and exist in the flow and energy of your natal chart, because it's what your soul selected. So of course, when you kind of honor it and walk in it, we all face hurdles and obstacles and we fall, but we get back up. But when you really understand your own chart, but astrology, you don't sweat the small stuff. And you know that some things are just temporary, some things are karmic, and some things are destined or fated, but you're not, the world's not ending tomorrow, So I'm so glad that you're doing your thing and doing your dance. So thank you so much.
Me of meeting your biological parents when you've been adopted, and all of a sudden you're like, this is where I get all these traits from. Oh, this is cool. I'm not different. This is just where it comes from.
Oh.
And now you feel whole. That's how I feel, at least.
Wow. Okay. So that was so you were adopted and then you met. Okay.
No, that's just how astrology feels when I met myself.
Oh, okay. Now I get the analogy. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I don't remember that, but okay. Well,
my parents said, my sisters used to tell me I was adopted because I looked nothing like them. And then I realized nobody would give my parents any children. So I was sad because that meant I was not adopted.
Oh, oh my friend. Oh my God. Well, listen, thank you so much. And thank you for being on episode 219 of my Knowledge.
Thank you for having me. This has been so much fun. I'll see you at Coffee Talk.
Oh yeah, this has been fun. And you guys, check out everything down below in the description. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and go follow her Facebook pages and support Stone Popsicles, because Elizabeth Broussard is here to bring health to us all in a very unique and innovative, pure, natural way. So thank you for the work that you do. So,
thank you for the work that you do, because I now like me, and I don't look at my birth chart mortified and want to throw up every time. Now I'm like, I have some magical things in here, and this is what
do.
Now. I mean,
that's what I like to do.
House, but
thank you.
That's because I needed the extra work. That's why it's in my first house. Okay, I'm stubborn.
Well, I'm glad you appreciated the work we did together, and I'm just glad for what you share with the collective. So, all right, you guys. Thanks you, Elizabeth.
Hi, thank you, Eric.
You guys, go get some Stone Popsicles. You will get some good sleep, and it will take away some pain. All right?
Yeah.
All right.
Feel free to contact me anytime. I'm always here.
All right. Knowledge is love.